that has led to other chats going worldwide. When we first started this, people would call up and ask permission to use our format, which was, pretty nice.
Welcome to the Hack Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Barnes, providing right now solutions to some of your biggest teaching and learning problems. Now, let's hack learning. You heard from author, educator, podcaster Tom Whitby talking about Edchat on Twitter. That's hashtag Edchat. It's a live chat that's been going on for years. At one time, it was the most popular Twitter chat on all of Twitter in any category. And we're talking about an education chat. But Edchat is a chat that really sort of launched the hashtag. And that's really a neat thing when you think about it for educators. So back in the day, when hashtags really weren't well known. Maybe Twitter didn't even really know about the hashtag or what it was. It was sort of evolving. Tom Whitby started chatting with some people on Twitter, just going back and forth, using it almost as a message board. And they started talking about the possibility of making this a live chat. They said, what if we were to use this chat and put it in one spot and share with our audience that we're going to have this conversation about an education topic weekly, and they would all come to Twitter. And that's how hashtag Edchat was born. There's a website. The chat is archived. It's an incredibly powerful tool for teachers and learners. You know what? Another incredibly powerful tool for teachers and learners and for anyone who loves books is Audible. And this episode of the Hack Learning Podcast is sponsored by Audible. And because you're a listener, you can get Audible free and get an audio book free today. And it's so simple. You just go to audibletrial.com/hacklearning. Audible has a library of, get this, 180,000 audiobooks. And yeah, you can find hack learning books there too. How cool is that? So if you want to read hacking education or hacking assessment and you want to listen to those audiobooks, maybe you're on a treadmill, you're out for a jog, you're walking your dog, you're sitting in a doctor's office, you got time to kill, you can find an audiobook, one of 180,000 at Audible, and you can stick it in your ear, right? I know that sounds derogatory, but really it's a cool thing. Put on some headphones, click on Audible, listen to your book, and learn while you're walking, jogging, or waiting. There's nothing better than that. Because you're a Hack Learning listener, you can get Audible free today, browse their library, get a book free today, and stick it in your ear. Go to audibletrial.com/hack learning and grab Audible today. And if you're not listening to an audiobook, you are probably on Twitter, right? I mean, because, hundreds of millions of people are on Twitter. And if you're an educator, you're on Twitter because you want to learn. And there's a really good chance that you are joining a live hashtag chat. So again, in the open, we heard from Tom Whitby, co-founder of the popular hashtag Edchat, where they talk about various topics related to education. They share questions throughout the chat. It's an hour long, and it's an amazing way to learn. So I talked to Tom about this, and then I talked to some other amazing educators about chats that they are moderating and that they're involved with, and said, how can we continue to leverage the power of Twitter, the massive audience on Twitter, and also take what we learned there and carry it into the classroom. And we're going to hear from some amazing educators for the rest of this show about Twitter, and specifically about the live Twitter chat. This has become such a powerful teaching and learning tool that brings like-minded people together, and they share ideas, and it's really an amazing thing. What you need to know first about live Twitter chats is that they're different, even if they're all in the same overall topic, like education. So if you go to hashtag Edchat, you're going to get a little different style than you will if you go to hashtag Hack Learning, hashtag Satchat, and we're going to hear from Brad Curry, one of the creators of Satchat, in a little while. But to get an idea of another kind of Twitter chat, a different live Twitter chat format. Let's listen to Star Saxteen. Star is an educator, an author, a global presenter. She is the author of Hacking Assessment, one of the best-selling books in the Hack Learning series. You can learn all about Star and her work at hacklearning.org. And, of course, she'll be listed in our show notes at hacklearningpodcast.com. And Star is the co-moderator of Satchat, that's hashtag Satchat, which takes place on Sunday mornings. And they have a little different style. Let's listen to what Star says about the format of Satchat and what it does to make people better.
Satchat was created a bunch of years ago when Sean Junkins had made a joke about just starting a Sunday chat, and Barbara Madden and I kind of got on board with him. And then after that first week, it just kind of became a thing. And then Jamie Arman came in and joined us. And ever since then, it's been this great creative sort of space for people on Sunday mornings. The thing that makes our chat a little more unique than some of the other ones is that we use an EdCamp style. So we'll have a topic that will drop at the top of the hour, but there are no questions or any real structure to what's going on. Rather, it's like an open networking space where people have ideas and they share whatever the topic means to them, and then people break off in groups and start talking about those subtopics that kind of come up around the things that they're most interested in. I think that our chat is a great way to get people thinking about different topics in education, and that's one of the unique things about Twitter chats in general. It's a great space to really collaborate with other people about ideas you're having or gathering resources if you're in a pinch and you need to know more about something.
So some chats will have very structured questions. They'll run maybe every 6 to 8 minutes. There'll be a specific question around the topic. And Star talks about how Satchat is more of an EdCamp style. If you know anything about EdCamps are put on usually at schools by teachers, and they invite people from their district and surrounding districts to come in. And it's just a real open format conference. You come in and you say, hey, do you want to present? And if they do, teachers write down a topic they'd be interested in. An organizer puts them in a room. People gather, and they just sort of sit there and talk about the topic and have a dialogue. And Satchat, as Star says, is very similar to that. They put a topic out there and they say, okay, join the chat and say anything you want, ask any questions that you want. It's a different style, but a unique style, and one that so many people enjoy. Star says that a thing she loves about Satchat is that it's collaborative. People come in and they're sharing resources. I like how she says, if you need something in a pinch, you know, you wake up on a Sunday morning, you say, I might need something for my classroom tomorrow. And let me jump into Satchat, and maybe I'll find something that I could actually use in the class. Boy, that sounds a lot like Hack Learning. You know, we solve problems and we provide solutions that you can use tomorrow, like listening to a chat on Twitter, a live hashtag chat. Let's listen to Connie Hamilton, another educator and chat moderator, and also a Hack Learning author. Connie moderates the TM chat, and TM is Thinking Maps. And we're going to listen to what Connie says about the value of the chat and how she has actually taken things from the chat and then been able to integrate them into the classroom. And that is really one of the amazing powers of the live Twitter chat.
As people begin to respond to predetermined questions, then those people who are in the chat begin to make connections and have side conversation within the chat. And those side conversations are really interactive, people tweeting back and forth pretty quickly and having almost like their own conversations. It's like being in a party and you kind of go off to the side, you find somebody that you click with and really begin to have a great chat with. I was in a chat about Socratic Seminar and connected with a teacher in the 2nd grade. And I was trying to wrap my head around how to bring Socratic Seminar down to students that young, and had a great conversation with her on Twitter, and she agreed to send me files and files and files of lessons and sentence stems and procedures that she used in her classroom that I printed off and started a PLC. We brought all of her materials together, and early childhood teachers in my building are exploring implementing Socratic Seminar in first grade.
So the live Twitter chat is not just about collaboration and learning about something that you're interested in from other people. It's like a party, as Connie Hamilton says. Imagine being in this live Twitter chat and you connect with one or two or three people and you start messaging back and forth. And this happens a lot within the chat. And then maybe that turns into a direct message and maybe even an email. And you can really create some bonds in these live chats. And as Connie Hamilton says, that can then lead to actionable work that you take with you into your classroom. And that is truly amazing. She learned about using Socratic seminars with younger kids and carried that back into her school and shared it with her colleagues. And now that is actually a strategy that many teachers are using. So imagine the power of taking something from Twitter in a chat, meeting people, getting to know them, sharing resources, and then actually taking it back to the classroom. Because even though teachers are participating in these live chats, in the end, it's really about the kids. It's what you can learn and what you can take back. Listen to what Satchat co-moderator and teacher and author Brad Curry has to say on the subject.
Every educator is doing something great, and the world needs to know about it. And Twitter is the vehicle for people to find out that information. So Twitter chats, professional growth, it's a match made in heaven and has really moved the educational world closer together, not only for the betterment of educators, but in terms of promoting the success of students. And that's what we're here to do each and every day.
So Twitter chats, as our incredible contributors have shown us today, make us better teachers and learners. They help us collaborate. They help us share resources. They give us things that we can use when we go back to our classrooms, to our workplace tomorrow. And that's hack learning, and that's an amazing thing. But in the end, as Brad Curry of Satchat tells us, it's all about the kids. And if we can find a live Twitter chat and take something from it and make kids better, well, then why wouldn't we join a live Twitter chat? As always, we continue the conversation at #HackLearning on Twitter and on the show notes page at hacklearningpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.